During a family dinner at my parents' house, I received a message from an unfamiliar number. Get up and leave now. Don't say anything to your parents. I chose to follow the instructions. The next day, the police arrived at their front door. It was strange how ordinary everything felt right before everything fell apart. I didn't expect any emotional outpouring, but I certainly wasn't prepared for what happened next. Looking back, it was the most dangerous kind of trap. When life feels normal, you let your guard down, and that's when it hits you hardest. When I walked in, my mom called from the kitchen. Come on in, we're about to eat. As if everything was fine. My dad stood up slowly when I entered, almost unsure of how to greet me. Like he was questioning whether we should do a hug or just a nod. We nodded. My sister was already sitting at the table, engrossed in her phone with that classic teenage indifference. She barely acknowledged me before returning to her screen. It didn't bother me though. I wasn't there to win anyone over. The table was set as usual, everything neat. My seat was already pulled out, with a glass of cranberry juice waiting for me. It was just like old times, nothing special or festive, just plain juice. You still like cranberry, right? My mom asked with a smile that felt more like a performance. I nodded. I hadn't touched the stuff in months, but now wasn't the time to bring that up. We sat and the meal was served, chicken, potatoes, and some green beans. My dad pretended to enjoy it, though it was clear that he didn't. The conversation stayed light, almost robotic. How's work? Still in the same apartment? Traffic's been terrible, hasn't it? I responded, smiling, even chuckling when my sister mentioned a coworker who got stuck in a revolving door. It wasn't funny, but I played my part, the quiet, reliable one who didn't rock the boat. Then, halfway through my dad's usual rant about roadwork, my phone buzzed in my lap. Without thinking, I checked it under the table. The message was short and direct. Get up and leave now. Don't say anything to your parents. No name, no emojis, just firm periods at the end of each sentence. I read it again. The room continued as if nothing had changed. My mom nodded along to my dad's rant. My sister chewed her food. Everything seemed so normal. Yet I was being told to leave, as if something dangerous had just been unleashed. I didn't move right away. I thought it might be a joke, a prank, or a scam. Anything but what I knew deep down it was. I stood up. I'll be right back, just need to use the bathroom, I said. No one questioned me. They didn't even look up. I grabbed my phone and went upstairs, choosing the bathroom on the upper floor, where the door locked securely. I sat on the edge of the bathtub, staring at the message once more. Then I called the number. It rang once, then someone picked up. You're still there? A voice asked. Who is this? I replied. It's Mark, he said. Mark, my sister's on and off boyfriend. Get out. Leave now. Don't drink anything. Just go. My throat went dry. I hadn't touched the juice yet. Why? What's going on? I asked. You need to trust me. Just leave, please. I stayed silent. I sat there for a long time after the call ended, feeling the cold tiles beneath me. I had a choice, and I had already made it. The truth, though, was something I hadn't seen coming. Growing up, being the older sister wasn't a special title, just something I did out of habit. 3 years older, I was always the responsible one. When we were kids, our parents gave us $5 a week. I saved mine, and she spent hers, on gum, glitter pens, or whatever caught her attention. And then she'd look at me, expecting me to cover for her. She doesn't have any left, but you do. Don't be selfish, they'd say. That was how it all began. It wasn't a rule, just a pattern. If I saved, I was expected to share. If she overspent, I was expected to fix it. Back in high school, I took a part-time job at a pharmacy on weekends. It wasn't much, but it was enough for me to buy my own jeans without arguing. My sister didn't work. She was younger, and no one expected her to. But if she wanted something extra, guess who got nudged? She really wanted to see that movie, but didn't have her own money. I did. Of course, it was me who ended up paying. They still covered the essentials, but anything beyond that became my responsibility. When I left for college, things settled. I was busy, broke, and living in another state. My sister was still in high school, and for a while I felt like I had some space to breathe. After graduation, I landed a junior developer job. It wasn't glamorous, just entry-level pay with basic benefits, barely enough to cover rent and student loans. But to my parents, it was like I had struck gold. They started making requests, asking if I could help with my sister's enrollment deposit or buy her expensive textbooks. She didn't work, didn't budget, and didn't ask me directly. It was always the same. She'd ask them and they'd ask me. At first I said yes. I thought that now I was earning, helping would feel easier. It didn't. The more I made, the more they expected, and it never felt like my money was really mine. Then there was the alcohol. By the time I hit my early 20s, I realized my body doesn't handle it well. Half a drink, and I was out. I once blacked out from just 2 sips of wine. Since then I haven't touched it, not even at weddings. My family always knew about my limit, but accepting it was another story. Come on, just have a little. Don't be such a stick in the mud. They'd roll their eyes like I was being difficult. But it wasn't really about the drink. It was about how easily they dismissed my boundaries when it didn't suit them. A couple of years into my career, I got a promotion. It wasn't huge, but it was a real step forward. When I told my parents, my mom's response was, "That's great. So, how much are you making now?" Then came the request. "Do you think you could support your sister's semester abroad? She's so excited about it." No congratulations, just another expectation. That's when I decided to stop saying yes. There was no big speech about drawing boundaries. I just quietly stopped. No more just this once. No more treating my bank account like a communal pot. Maybe I'd still buy her a coffee now and then, but I retired from being the sponsor. And then came the silence. No texts, no phone calls, just that quiet, heavy silence that somehow felt loud, like they were punishing me with their absence. Weeks passed, then came the crack in the quiet. "Your sister needs help. It's serious." They floated a number, $12,000. They wouldn't explain why, only that she needed it, that I could afford it, that I was her sister. I said no. They kept pushing. So, I called her directly, and that's when the truth came out. She'd been gambling. She'd lost money. A lot of it. Now she owed money she couldn't pay. She was studying finance, and if this got out, she wouldn't just lose her job. It would end her career. She begged me for help, claiming it was the only way to save herself. I asked her, "Has this happened before?" She didn't answer, but I didn't need her to. I said, "No. Not later. Not partway. Just no. I've helped you for as long as I can remember," I told her. "But this? I won't cover it. Not this time. Not ever again." She called me cold, accused me of not understanding. Maybe she was right, or maybe I finally just didn't want to understand. After that, they cut me off. 3 weeks of total silence. Then came the slow return. A forwarded meme from my dad, a picture of the backyard from my mom, a TikTok from my sister with no caption, and eventually an invite. "We're having dinner. Just the family. Hope you'll come." No mention of the money, no apologies, just dinner. I told myself they had accepted it, that they had come to terms with my decision. So when they asked me to join, I said yes. Mark's demeanor was unsettling. His voice was low, almost devoid of emotion. Yet there was an underlying tension that lingered in the air. "It's the drink," he said in a hushed tone. "I think they've put something in it. Maybe alcohol, or something else. I'm not sure. But I think they're trying to make you pass out." The room around us seemed unnervingly still. The white tile floor stretched out beneath me, and the faint hum of a ceiling fan whirred in the background. I could hear the distant clinks of silverware from downstairs. I stayed silent. "Why?" I finally asked. Another long pause followed before Mark spoke again. "They want to unlock your phone. They plan to use your fingerprint." I took the glass, held it up, and gave a small smile. "Tastes just like I remember," I said, "but I didn't drink any of it." Later, I casually remarked, "Was someone just pulling into the driveway?" All eyes turned to look, and as they did, I quietly slipped the glass under the table, angled it just right, and let the juice drip into the carpet. Not all of it, just enough to make it believable. The liquid soaked in quickly. "I just feel weird. Tired," I said, keeping my voice even. My mom leaned in, her face soft with concern. Are you okay? She asked. Yeah, I replied. Just a little woozy. I think I need to lie down for a bit. Without hesitation, they helped me to the couch, treating me as if I were fragile, their movements almost tender. I lay there, closing my eyes, trying to steady my racing heart. Just breathe. In and out. Don't react. The couch was warm beneath me, and someone gently draped a blanket over my legs. I heard their voices, hushed and conspiratorial. Is she asleep? My mom whispered. Yeah, she's out, my sister replied. All right, let's do this quickly, my dad's voice followed. Then I heard the unmistakable sound of my phone being picked up, followed by the soft pressure of fingers curling around my hand, guiding my thumb to the sensor. I kept my breathing steady. Eyes still closed. A brief pause. Then the faint buzz of the phone unlocking. The whole thing felt quietly horrifying. The way they worked together so seamlessly, like it was nothing. Okay, we're in, my sister whispered. I heard the clatter of tapping, the sound of numbers being entered. Routing number? My dad muttered under his breath. She has everything saved. Then my mom's voice low and careful. How much are we taking? Not all of it, my dad replied. Just enough to settle it. Settle what? I wanted to scream, but I didn't move. I kept still, letting them believe I was oblivious. She won't even know, my mom said. If it goes through smoothly, she'll just think she transferred it herself. She always blacks out after drinking, my sister added, her tone full of finality. We just needed her to sleep through it. There it was, spoken aloud, all their intentions laid bare. I wanted to retch, but I stayed calm. I could hear the tapping of my phone, the attempts to bypass the security. It's asking for a code, my sister said. Code? My mom asked impatiently. Two-step verification. My sister muttered, frustrated. She changed it. My dad sighed, irritated. Try another app. More tapping. Still nothing. Everything's locked, my sister said, defeated. They fell silent for a moment, then my mom said, just put the phone back. And they did. No apologies, no second thoughts. They simply left me there, pretending nothing had happened. After a while, I opened my eyes, sitting up slowly, blinking like I was just waking from a nap. Sorry, I mumbled. I don't know what happened. I feel like I blacked out for a second. They looked at me, confusion flickering across their faces. Are you sure you're okay? My dad asked, his voice tentative. Yeah, I said, forcing a smile. I think I just need some fresh air. I picked up my phone, holding it as if nothing had transpired, like they hadn't just used it against me. Actually, I think I'll head home. I've got work early tomorrow. They nodded, no protest, no awkward attempts to keep me there. Just a chorus of polite, detached words. Thanks for coming. Get home safe. Let us know when you're back. It was like we hadn't just crossed an invisible line, one that we couldn't ever come back from. At the door, we went through the motions. Hugs one after another. My mom, my dad, my sister. It wasn't planned, just habit. But as I hugged them, something in me cracked. The scent of my mom's perfume, the warmth of my dad's jacket, the touch of my sister's hand on my arm. Familiar, comforting things, but they were all tainted now. The weight in my chest grew heavier. This was the last time, I realized. The last time I'd embrace them. After tonight, there would be no coming back. I almost cried, but I didn't. Almost. I stepped back, managed a smile, and left. But I knew deep down I was breaking. I thanked them for dinner, gave a polite smile, and left. I didn't tell them what I knew or ask about the drink. I said nothing. But as I walked out of the bathroom that night, I did exactly what they didn't expect. I didn't block their access to my phone. I left the fingerprint scan active just as they wanted. What I changed was my bank's security. I didn't settle for basic authentication. I set up real two-factor verification, something they couldn't replicate. So when they tried to transfer money, the system logged the attempt, halted the transaction, and created a trail. Then I set up a hidden recording. No flashing lights, no apps visible, just a smooth, background recording running. They had no idea. They thought I was out cold. But I was steps ahead. Even before I rejoined them at the table, I calmly drove to the police station as if I was heading to the store. No rush, no anxiety. I parked, walked in, and waited in line. When I finally spoke to the officer, I simply told her that I needed to report a crime. When she asked for details, I said, "They drugged me and tried to steal from me. I have the recording." She blinked in surprise. "Do you know who did it?" she asked. "Yes. My parents and my sister." Her face changed, but she didn't say anything. Instead, they brought me into a quiet room where I played the audio for the officer. He listened closely, nodding as I highlighted timestamps and showed the bank's log of the attempted transaction. "This is serious," he said. I shrugged. "Yeah, it was." The officer asked if I was okay, and if I had a place to stay. I told him I was already out. I felt no fear, just a strange sense of clarity. 2 days later, my phone buzzed constantly. My mom's message asked if I'd really reported my own family. Then came a text. "What is wrong with you?" My sister's voicemail was frantic, apologizing, claiming it was all a mistake. My dad left a message too, his voice low, filled with anger. "You think the cops will fix this? You're going to ruin everything. You don't do this to your own family." I responded once. "You drugged me. You tried to rob me. That's not family. That's a felony." Then I blocked them all. Every number. Every group chat. Even emergency bypasses. I changed my phone number, froze my credit, and rewrote my will. It didn't sting as much as I expected. In fact, it felt freeing. The charges stuck. They didn't contest them. Audio, banking logs, everything synced perfectly. They faced probation, fines, community service, but no jail time. Yet the stain remained. Months later, I learned they sold the house, debt, legal fees, and an attempt to salvage whatever was left. No one in the family spoke up. Silence. A cousin told me my sister was working at a grocery store. I ran into her once, stacking paper towels, avoiding any eye contact. She looked just as she always did, but something had shifted. Her boyfriend had left shortly after everything came out. No arguments, just him packing up and leaving. I didn't say anything. I paid for my groceries and walked out. I haven't received any texts asking for help. No more guilt-tripping calls. My life was mine again, each piece bought by me for me. Severing ties wasn't as harsh as I feared. It felt clean. So did I go too far, or was it not enough? Leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe.